healing expert. And hi on Instagram, hi on Facebook and YouTube. Woohoo! All right. And today we want to talk about the health habit number 2, when emotions prevent you from fully recovering. And that is a really intense situation right now, because the whole country is in so much power outage due to weather, very strong weather, and it runs over the whole country of the US right now. So it is really intense what we as humans are now experiencing, all over the world. Before there have been difficulties mainly known in so-called third world countries, but it is now very intensely also affecting, almost everyone. First, we had issues that, a lot of changes has happened with the pandemic, starting with new disease, so-called disease coming into as, destroying the human race. That's how it was, said. So I have a little bit a different angle on that. But in general, you probably don't care if I have a different angle on it or not. You probably care, how is it possible to be in a situation where you are very challenged, where you are to your bare minimum, where you are limited in your way that you usually could, act and react, and it's not happening. It can't, because we are restricted. And weather is now adding to that. And as above, so below, there is natural laws influencing. There is a balancing effect, obviously, in nature, that is trying to harmonize, as I see it, harmonize and bring back to center or to balance what was out of balance, due to a lot of unconscious doing of human beings. Because here's the thing, we do know that we are the highest race on the planet with consciousness that is able and capable with their conscious abilities to change the natural world, the objective natural world, in very strange ways. So if I want to look at this in nature, nature has its rhythm, and it's moving in its way. So if we are bringing our technologies in, our changes in, that has an effect on how nature is responding, if you want to say so. It changes nature's way in a real sense. So just as an example, when you look at if you are a little bit familiar with the traditional Chinese medicine and the 5 elements, then you might know in Feng Shui, the whole landscape is categorized in a yin energy or yang energy. Not to go into details, but to just bring an example. So for the tradition, it is said that in front of a mountain, it's yang energy, and behind a mountain is yin energy, as well as Underneath the ground is categorized as yin energy, and above the ground would be yang energy. So now looking at that, we are capable of building like power plants behind the mountain, which does change the whole energetics of that area. Or the same as if we build cities underneath the ground, which would be energetically yin in nature, but I mean, cities are underneath the ground are very young in nature, so that changes the dynamic and, I mean, has results on and outcomes that we as humans might not always want, because they may follow the laws of unhealthy ways. So we do want to learn from that. So if we want to really heal from everything, then we cannot be blind to our capacities we have to influence consciously. That's a theme for tomorrow. For today, let's look into how I have been learned in medical Qigong, how healing is prevented actually through emotions if they are not taken care of, if there is an information that the person has that is stored within and is originated in an unhealthy point, if you want to say so, in trauma or in wounding, in pain. So in general, you do know when the body is healthy. So you probably know that you feel, I mean, very much at ease, everything is flowing, all the body functions are naturally, you don't need to think about it, they go easily. So you don't even feel your organs, nothing is complaining within. You have a bunch of energy, and no matter what you think, it is very easy, it's clear, you can start, you can plan it through, and you can bring it into fruition. So you have resting points, you are capable of easily going, and nothing really brings you out of center. That would be a more healthy state. So knowing that we all have been experiencing areas that's not feeling like that, then the question would be, and how to create and also habits into this direction. So what are those areas that you have obviously experiences that is not at ease, and it's not flowing, and it's not in full power and clarity? So let's look at the emotional side. Emotions are not your enemy. Emotions have a very, very valuable function. And I mean, if you want to say so, they just communicate and let you know that something is not right for you. So it's, I mean, all matter that exists, that vibrates, and regardless of its form or shape. So when the human body receives that vibration through all the sensing organs, like the skin and the eyes and the nose and the mouth, and records them into the cells, then that information is available, right? And the mind will interprets that as incoming vibration, and that incoming vibration can be interpreted as an image or a sound or a smell, or a sensation, and then that the mind is unable to somehow organize that into memories. So by the way, when we grow up, when we are born, we are not fully cognitive developed yet. So our mind in those starting points of our life is a little bit more limited. And then also we go through hormonal changes, which makes it more intense, the change. And the memories might be a little bit more intense. So just as a side note at this point, so what I want to say, so when the mind does interpret things, and at the same time, the energetic chi body and the spiritual body, we talked about this, that we do have that, they are also sending and receiving information within their realms, within their worlds where they exist. So, and if there is, huge differences between those worlds, then we probably have huge problems, and we perceive that as imbalance, right? So internally we have created a representation of the world that is and means externally. We have, created means that are now expressed in the external world. So whatever we receive on the inside world get now a meaning, and that is reflected. And each person then begins probably to learn to filter out of the incoming information, and generalizes and distorts and deletes and tries to organize it in form of thoughts and in form of feelings that the person is not overwhelmed with and can handle. So we are all, when we come into this world, we are all influenced by the area we are growing up, by the society, by our family, and people, they are influencing us, and that is bringing us the information from the area we are in. And so now we start internally to organize that, make a meaning out of, in order to survive and function. So we learn through those experiences and perception what is acceptable where we are at this place, wherever we are, and what is not acceptable, so that we are capable of growing and surviving. So here's the thing. We are all came into this world with the same senses. So our neurological foundation is all the same. So we have eyes to see, we have nose to smell, we have the ears to hear, we have the tongue to taste, and we have the skin and the body to experience touch, right? So, but we do differ based on the person's constraints. So wherever you put yourself constraints on as an individual. So we do develop filters, and this depends on your history, right? So to a very personal, very unique level, because your history is very unique and you grew up different, and we are living under different conditions each other. So, and that can give rise then later on for different interests or habits or likes and dislikes, or your internal code of conduct that's affecting your social behaviors. So we also developed a function on filter how to function in society. So we also learn that at the same time and know how we are different from others. And so we include in this way maybe the beliefs of others and exclude beliefs of another group of people. So we are all like going as a cultural person, so we are all trained by culture to accept certain structures. And that has an effect on your tissues. So that itself, so that makes it happen that even though we are capable of, like, you know, we talked about yesterday about food, right? You're capable of, I mean, have a test group of maybe 100 people, and they all eat the same, but they will not all have the same outcome in healing due to some of that what I said so far. There's way more going on, but on the emotional level, that is definitely influencing. So the way how you have been, the way how you receive is what for organs you receive. There could be already, I mean, impairments, if you want to say so, or constraints. The way how you have been growing up in your personal space, and the way how you have been growing up in the social space. So those are really important parameters to distinguish if a person implements too much constraints into their life, and so holding themselves back from a healing process. So in medical Qigong, we did learn how emotions affect the tissue. So from that perspective, I can say that when the emotions are in harmony with the person's intention, then that energy flows within, and everything, all aspects of the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, they are all in harmony, all in a growing, expansive state. And that's, you know, more an unhealthy level. And if there are discrepancies between those intentions and the emotions, that creates a splintering in the energetic body. First, it will make a splint in, or split in, the consciousness. And this is a theme for tomorrow. But it will also have then a split in your energy bodies. So which can finally break down then your life force energy flow, and can end up in disease if if it goes on for long periods of time. So I mean, this is a long-standing process, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to see it, because if it would be a very short or fast process, then probably we all get crazy very fast or very sick very fast. So the body still tries to, obviously, even though if you are emotionally maybe cutting things out or focusing on really negative feelings, then you still have a very, very good chance to heal from that in an amount of time while you're growing. Except it's that you couldn't, right? So emotions are flowing like little rivers and currents, right? Like the water through the body with different vibrational rates. And so lower vibrations are reflected as lower emotions. So such as they come out then, those lower vibrancies as worries, as anger, as sadness and fear. So something naturally if the vibration is low. And they are experienced as often feeling of being drained, while higher vibrations are reflected as higher emotions such as kindness and joy and happiness, forgiveness, that will be a result of it. And they are often experienced as feeling energized and full of life. And those emotions are actually very neutral in their nature because it fulfills the function when we are not in balance or in a healthy state to bring us back. So they are actually warning signs or pointers to protect the individual from possible harm. And that's a natural process. So naturally, we should not being afraid of showing our emotions, if you want to say so. But health problems occur, as we may know, when we are suppressing the true emotions that are existing within the individual itself. So as I said, everyone is different, so we cannot know in any moment if memories of suppressed feelings are stored in the body. We cannot know how it comes out. So it would be probably good to allow them in a loving, embracing way that would be healing in the moment. But we all know that they come out in very weird situations and moments, and we are not allowed by our social upbringings and restraints to show them as they would be healing and healthy for that one person, because it would affect the other in an unhealthy way. So we all have learned how to reject, deny, repress, disown our feelings, not even knowing our feelings, and disassociate to a point. That's one way of dealing with it, that we tell ourselves they don't exist, or we make them belittled, or we just ride the wave and have the consequences in this way. So I do think that if we suppress, as if it continues for long periods of time, that causes toxic accumulation of chemistry in the body. Toxic emotion causes toxic chemistry. And so then as a result, maybe you have an experience with a person at work, there was a tiny little thing and suddenly they blow out of proportion relative to the event, right? So, and then they are repressed again, they can show it again, or are ridiculed for it. So they all learn that we can't. So those new emotions, they come up in that event, are now added to the old original one. And that is going on for so long time that there is pain felt. First emotionally, and if that is not resolved, it will affect the structure of your physical body. So I think that is of importance to really learn somehow to not learn how to suppress even more. Also not learn how to always and freely express your emotions, even though that's the healthier way. Anger is one of the most experienced form that actually is more healthier than the lower frequency emotions of shame and guilt. So the emotions of anger would help you actually to realize that there is something underneath that you're sad about, that hasn't been solved yet. I'm so sorry. Well, allow our body to respond. When I talk about emotions, my body is responding to it, so we have proof. So there's something I'm balancing in my body, just talking about the theme. And that's totally cool. So we even have been learned that the physical body tries to let go of it, as I did right now. So my body wanted to cough. So a release of my body in some way or form. I don't even need to interpret it. And I see a lot of people are requested for covering all that. And this is very, very unhealthy as well. So now Here's the point. It is completely understandable that we cannot, with what we have captured and stored within our body, we cannot, just throw it out and not have an effect then on the external world, on our fellow men. That would be completely egoistically just thinking of yourself. Understandable. I get that. It's not what I'm saying. What we are looking for is, and that's what we are going into tomorrow, more in depth, how to use our conscious ability, the place where all diseases start. How can we use it more wisely so that we improve the world of yourself, to improve to that degree that you start to realize your innate capacity, your innate healing abilities, that you can rely on them, that you can, really trust and believe that those will help you and bring you to a place of neutrality, that your emotions are more neutral. You can, be calm in the situation and allow the emotions to show up, inform you, and then make wiser decisions based on that information you received. You don't have to express an anger. You can feel the information that anger brings, but nobody has to explode unless it's really so intense that they have no other choice, or they have created already in their conscious mind and habit of doing so and not realizing that they are trapped within. So my intention is to hold space and bring all our conscious abilities in, bring all, what we learned from our ancient tradition, from our understanding what ancient tradition has been successfully implementing in the healing process for thousands of years, but updated now by our new ways, how as society and how as advanced we are in technology and science. We cannot ignore that either. We need to bring that into the healing process as well, and realize it as a conscious highest being on the planet. We want to bring that for help for everyone, for improvement of the whole, for improvement and embetterment of everyone. So that means we learn how to do it ourselves and how to deal with the emotions. So habits, health habits need to be created for everyone, because it's we come from such a dark age of dealing with emotions and recognizing and allowing emotions, that there might be a need of balancing that and allow people maybe some special places where they can fully express their emotions and feeling in a safe environment. So we do need that in society. It needs to be implemented as a way of not something is sick, as a way of we all want to come back to neutral. We all suffer in some way from that. And it's not sick, it's a warning sign of your physical body and in harmony with the emotion, trying to prevent you from more harm. So, but we also, as I said, we want to bring that all together, not just saying nature is the only way, not just saying technology and our new society and the direction and science is the only way. We want to use it all because it exists as in our life, and therefore it has its place and it has its function. And if we are consciously put us into the function of healing, and let go of researching on sickness and disease, then we have a better chance to bring that into the life of everyone for the betterment of the whole, of society, of the earth in general, and of future generations to come. Well, yeah, I think that learning how to deal with your feelings and emotions is number one for a majority of people, so that you are able to be more observant and benefit from the flow of energy or currency that is changing in your body, to benefit from it as a signaling sign, as a pointing sign something is not right, especially for you in this moment. And then learn to have such a big capacity to implement that, as that is okay. There's nothing wrong with having that feeling, but it doesn't have to be, squandered. How can you bring that into a strong structure and use that energy for bringing you into the higher vibration back? So health habits, if you want to live a strong, healthy, and empowered life, you need to focus on health, and you need to really strongly let go of all these conception of obsession, that the body doesn't know what to do and the body can't deal with that, so we want to stay calm when you have feelings. We want to learn to accept our feelings and observing the feelings in the first place, in order to know that there is something that is not whole, that is something's not integrated. There's something that has been pushed away so far that is causing you to have an imbalance. And rightfully so, because if that would be in society, if you would be pushed out over and over and over again, there will come a point for your own survival of that, of yourself, right, in community. If you're pushed out, you risk not to survive. You will have a really loud knock on this person's, on the community. So in the body, the cells knock on as well and inform you there's something not right. The emotions knock on and inform you there's something not right. And that's what's needed. So focus on healthy, focus on emotions are a warning sign and pointing sign, helping you to recognize there's something not right. And so now we need to learn how to deal with that. That needs strength, because the currency that appears, how strong anger is coming up in the body, how strong that is. So we need to learn to redirect that instead of into the same loop, to say, okay, I'm feeling my emotions, I can sense my emotions, I'm fully present with my emotions, and I'm allowing them to be there. And that is required in order to, when the emotion is running, it's too late. You have to go through the cycle. So then so-called coping mechanisms are really necessary. What we are learning tomorrow more is how to use your consciousness, your highest capability, in order to not even go there, and heal on a deep, deep level. So I hope that you had fun with understanding more about the emotions. I hope that you're inspired to listen to tomorrow what we are talking about, how to use a consciousness for healing, and knowing that the root cause is definitely somehow in the consciousness, and how we can help consciously for the improving of your health and keep this for long periods of time. That's the foundation for a really long life, no matter where you are, no matter under what for conditions you are. If you can use your tool, your consciousness, your human consciousness in the right way, you're on the safe side, and you can then experience how powerful you really are. And other people call this awakening. I just think it's a natural process to grow and evolve and have that need fulfilled that we want to all wake up in this lifetime. So that's what I'm standing for your highest potential, from the health to the highest potential. And love your emotions. That's my suggestion for today. And tomorrow we see each other 8 o'clock on this channel here, and streaming out to Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Okay, bye bye for until tomorrow.